Thank you, David. The second last weekend of the CFL season comes to a close with the Stampeders and the Alouettes meeting here in what some might have thought at one time would be a Grey Cup preview, but the Stampeders have struggled in the second half. They still have a shot, however, at first place in the West Division. It is a gorgeous day here in Montreal. Temperatures 8 degrees, not much wind, and the forecast is for clear blue skies. A beautiful October the 30th as we get set for what should be a very good football game.
Anthony Calvillo, you heard the guys talk about in the studio off the top of the show. Really struggled last week, making his 252nd career start in comparison to the other guy playing quarterback for the other team. That's Drew Tate making his second career start. Really took the helm last week and took control of this football team. A lot of belief from his teammates coming in here today to a big test against the Montreal Alouette football team.
Calgary Stampeders got a break last night with BC beating Edmonton. That keeps the Stampeders alive in the chase for first place in the West. However, if they lose today, they cannot play a home playoff game. Montreal will play a home playoff game, and if the Alouettes win out, they are the East Division champions. They lost the season series, however, to Winnipeg. So in the case of a tie, it would go to the Bombers. Sean White to kick things off. And his kickoff is taken short at the 35-yard line by Rob Cote. And the Stampeders, who won the toss and elected to take the football, will start at their 41-yard line. Starting lineups are brought to you by Rona, proud sponsor of the CFL and its 18.
That's right, Drew Tate, really a fiery effort last week, which kind of exemplifies this young man. He kind of cooled off in the second half, but he got the job done in a must-win game. His guy would do it all for the Stamps offense is Nick Lewis. Look for him to have a big game. And up front, starts in the middle with Tim O'Neill. No sacks given up last week. See if they can't do it against the Montreal team here today.
From the shotgun, this is Tate. He's looking down the field right away for Johnny Forzani. And that falls incomplete as the coverage was provided by Greg Laybourne.
Montreal defense is best against the run, and that's due to part to people like Eric Wilson and J.P. Bakaziak and Moten Hopkins in the middle. But John Bowman is a guy you got to be fearful of off the edge. He's going to really test Calgary's offensive tackles. Ramon Guzman, steady mainstay in the middle of that defense, and Seth Williams really got it, stepped up his play on the outside at cornerback for the Avs.
Avs have used 10 different defensive backs so far this year. Second and long, Tate's under pressure, he'll run, but not very far. Now he gets away, and Tate's still going. Now looking for a block, and Drew Tate gets a gain of 12 and a first down. Little magic there from the man making his second CFL start.
Magic is right. Boy, it made me tired just watching that play. He just makes things happen here, and watch his eyes. Watch his eyes, how they never leave downfield. This is what's impressive about Drew Tate. He gets his eyes upfield here, ball's in a position to throw, puts pressure on the defense. He's directing traffic, which you're going to see often here this afternoon. Kid's got a lot of moxie, we saw it there.
It's his 5th year in the Canadian Football League. Now Tate going wide side, and that is complete for a couple of yards as he finds Landon Talley. Greg Laybourne once again there on the coverage.
Landon Talley, a big target for Drew Tate last week.
And Tate last week, Matt, completed passes to 10 different receivers.
Yeah, which is astounding. Oftentimes you hear 7, which is a good day. 8 is, now you're stepping into uncharted waters. 9 is unbelievable, and 10 is unheard of. First time that's been done in the CFL this season.
Gain was 6 at 2nd and 4. And the give goes to the former Alouette, Larry Taylor. And Taylor around the corner, inside the 40. Taylor still going. And down to the 33-yard line. Taylor spent 3 years with the Alouettes, primarily as a return man. Picks up 17 yards on a Calgary first down.
That guy knows the value of going north-south down the football field. And here we see him start east-west, going towards the sidelines. And then he gets upfield, which is noted for. Right here, you can see him put his foot in the ground, pow, right there, and get north-south, getting some positive yards, which we see him do on his returns.
And to the ground, the carry to John Cornish. And Cornish wrapped up by Chip Cox for no gain.
Drew Tate has been special last couple of times out.
came off the bench against the Toronto Argonauts. In his first 150 career attempts in the league, Matt, he had 12 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He was, however, picked off twice last week by Saskatchewan.
Well, you know, you make a start, you know, there's going to be some blemishes on the stat sheet, and certainly he's got a couple of those going now.
Second down, Tate, pump fakes, looking at the end zone. Johnny Forzani's open, touchdown! Johnny Forzani, 33-yard score. And the Calgary Stampeders, the best team in the league on opening drives, get 6 to start.
Talking to Dave Dickinson prior to the game, says, Matt, we're going to have some big plays from Drew Tate. You know, against the Montreal team, it was a true test for him. And this ball is out before Forzani is into a second cut, and it's beautifully thrown in time. Probably the easiest TD that Forzani will have this season. A well-thrown ball, well-timed, huge start for the Stampeders.
4th touchdown catch of the year for Forzani. 3 of them have come against Montreal. He had his first 2 career touchdown catches in the first meeting. And the Calgary Stampeders have an early lead here in Montreal.
Got one thanks to Johnny Forzani. Nice out route run on Greg Laybourne, capitalized on a great drive, 6 plays and 69 yards.
This is Rashad Slaughter for the Alouettes, taking the kickoff out to the 33-yard line, just signed this week to replace the released Perry Floyd.
Yeah, there's Johnny Forzani, really been productive. Huffnagel likes what he's getting out of this young man, second-year player, and watch this play right here. He's going to get simply run up here, a little out cut and over the top, and the ball's out of Drew Tate's hand with timing, which is what a deep ball is all about. There's the out, bang, got Laybourne looking, reaching out of his cylinder, ball's on the money, 6 points. Great drive, initial drive for the Stampeders.
One of the great names in Calgary football. His dad Tom, his uncles John and Joe all played for the Stamps as well. Brandon Whitaker on first down with the carry, and he's wrapped up right away by Robert McCune.
Well, they're going to have to respond here. You know, Montreal's had a slow start. They've been slow starters here. Typically, they're good, fast starters, but, you know, it's going to be in this man's hands. Two-way Whitaker getting it done all season long for the Owls. And, you know, the other big gun is obviously Jamel Richardson having a career year. And then Scott Flory, 13th season for University of Saskatchewan, mainstay in that offensive line.
Second down, Calvillo throws, complete to Brandon London, first down, out to the 50-yard line. By the way, Matt, Montreal has not scored a touchdown on its opening possession in its last 10 games. That used to be a signature of the Alouettes.
Absolutely, and this is a football team, I alluded to it, really slow out of the gate. Uncharacteristically, but they pick it up in the second quarter. They're going to have to respond here to Calgary's fast start. It's a good way to move the chains and keep some momentum going.
Hey, what is top?
First down, Calvillo fires, and it's complete to Kerry Watkins. And flags are down as Watkins gets inside the 50. And if you tack on a face mask penalty here, the Alouettes will be even deeper.
Yeah, you know, it's typically when you see a head duck down, that's going to happen. And Jeff Tisdale's just trying to do everything he can.
Face mask. Calgary number 29. 15 yards from the end of the play, automatic first down.
You know, when you sit at home and you're watching the game, you know, you're always asking the question, why do players constantly do this? Well, it's not an exact science, and you're trying to do everything you can to get a player down, and you're reaching for cloth, and oftentimes that face mask gets in the way, and that's what happens to Jeff Tisdale there.
First down for the 33. Calvillo fires, complete to Jamel Richardson inside the 10, and he pulls his way down to the 7-yard line.
Gordon, this is timing, this is precision. We'll talk about it a lot today. Watch, it's just a little dig route or a 7 route right there. Watch the timing, the precision. This is a speed cut, really doesn't do anything but come out of his break. Ball's put on timing with accuracy, then Jamel Richardson does the rest. Optimus Prime living up to the nickname, making things happen.
Alouettes driving after scoring only one first-quarter touchdown in their last 6 games.
This is a huge response drive. Heard Schulte talking about a response drive of the BC Lions last night. Victory over the Edmonton Eskimos. This is big for the Owls.
Back to the ground. Brandon Whitaker tries that offside. Touchdown! And the Owls respond with one of their own. 10th touchdown of the year for Brandon Whitaker.
As fluid as AC and Jamel Richardson are, watch this guy do his thing. Little counter fake, follow the big boy around the side. Beautifully done. Following Jeff Parrott around the untouched in the end zone. We call that a walk-in. Huge response for the Owls offense.
Last time these two teams played, they combined for a season-high 791 passing yards. They're lighting up so far 7-7, and we're just getting started.
And what's your stat there, Gord? Defensive penalties?
This is Taylor from the 18-yard line, and Larry Taylor trying his luck, gets out to the 35. On average, teams score about 16% of their possessions. Any defensive penalty, and that percentage goes up close to 50.
Love that. Love it.
Unless you're a defensive player, I guess.
Talking to that guy, Larry Taylor, who just had that kickoff return, and we're talking about the woes of Perry Floyd being released and the addition of Rashad Slaughter to the Alouettes team. He knows the importance of going north-south in those returns and getting what you can for your offense.
Calgary starts from his 35-yard line. Ting looking over the top again, has a man, Rob Cote, and the fullback's wide open, deep in the Montreal territory. Cote lost the football, but goes out of bounds at the 34-yard line of the Alouettes. It's a pickup of 41 yards.
Another touch pass thrown perfectly to Cote. And the ball is out so quickly, Cote goes and runs underneath it. Nicely designed play. Riette is in a chase position and kind of caught napping. Really didn't decipher the play or read it very well. Rob Cote's down the sidelines before he gives it up.
And only 106 yards receiving on the season coming in. Now the toss, and this is Cornish around the right side, and Cornish inside the 30 and dives down to the 24-yard line, close to another Calgary first down.
Josh Cornish's taking over for Joffrey Reynolds. 56 carries, 502 yards in the last 5 games. Got a tremendous average yards per carry. That's a great example of why, Gord, because he flat out churns up the yards when he gets his hands on the football. There's another 10 for him right there.
Here's a first down, and the Stampeders are marching again. Take from the shotgun on first down, wants to go deep, he's got a man. And the pass falls incomplete, flags are down as DeAndre Dix was there in the coverage on Landon Talley. And if it's pass interference, it's first down for the Calgary Stampeders at the Montreal 1.
They're going to get DeAndre Dix here for grabbing Romby Bryant's arm with his right arm. You're going to watch it.
Pass interference. Montreal number 35. The infraction took place in goal. First down on the 1.
Here's the matchup, and this is corner route. Ball's thrown with timing again. I like to see that from Drew Tate. Here they are, and watch the hand fighting once Romby comes out of his break to the corner. Takes an inside release. He's got to really push the post hard. Doesn't do it enough, which gives Dix a chance to stay in his hip pocket, but he's grabbing Landon Talley's left arm and gets called for it.
Henry bursts it, tosses it out. John Cornish, touchdown. First 3 possessions of this game have featured 3 touchdowns.
What's up? What's up?
It's going to be another shootout, Gordon. These teams like to light it up. Average over 400 yards of offense when they face each other. He almost puts this one on the ground, but when he's able to corral it, it's in the end zone for a walk-in for John Cornish.
And John Cornish with his 7th touchdown of the year. 38-31 was the score in the first meeting of the season. Montreal had a 12-point lead at one point in that game, but Anthony Calvillo threw a late interception that allowed Calgary to break it open, but that was a shootout at McMahon Stadium.
Looks like we got another one here, Gordon.
And it may be nothing compared to this. 14-7. Calgary with the lead halfway through the first quarter.
Spencer's going to be caught here coming down the line of scrimmage and lose contain. He's at the top of your screen. He's going to come down on the play fake, and then he can't bounce back quick enough as he bites the Reynolds going in the middle, and then Henry Burris with a little toss out to Cornish.
Henry Burris had 422 yards passing in the last meeting. And now Slaughter drops the kickoff and moves it ahead, and Slaughter with a flag down gets out to the 30-yard line. The Alouettes are the most penalized team in the league on special teams returns. And we'll see if this is another illegal block against the Owls.
Yeah, Gord, since 2008, when they meet, these two football teams absolutely light up the scoreboard. Both teams average over...
On the return, illegal block. Montreal number 40, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Both teams average over 400 yards of offense. Calgary 408, Montreal 416. And in 4 of the Calgary wins in those 7 games, Henry Burris has thrown for over 400 yards. As you mentioned, 422 of those last time they met.
So the Ferry illegal block puts the Alouettes back at their 10-yard line. Fake to Whitaker. Calvillo throws outside. He's got Terry Carter. And the fullback gets to the 30-yard line. And a Montreal first down.
Kerry Carter, big back from Stanford, 5th-year player, out of the backfield. He's going to come in motion right across the fake to Whitaker. He outflanks the defense. A little pick there by Watkins on the outside. Frees up the edge for Kerry Carter. Nice, well-designed and executed football play.
I'm not sure we can call Carter a fullback anymore. He doesn't have a carry this year.
Well, he's a football player. He's just a football player, and when he gets his hands on the ball, he's usually producing for the Owls.
First down, Calvillo with time, fires, and Watkins has got it. Calls the football, and the Calgary Stampeders have it. Watkins fumbles, and it's recovered by Demetrius Morley, the safety. And the officials talking about it, but it's ruled a fumble and a recovery by Calgary.
Yeah, Johnny Dixon's the guy here right here is going to reach in and rip it out.
And that's a fumble.
I don't know if he ever caught the ball, and I think we may see a challenge here, because I'm not sure if he ever had possession of that football. He's never secured it. Take another peek at it. Can't really see it from there, but Johnny Dixon does a nice job.
And Trestman's going to challenge. So Mark Trestman will challenge this call. And this is a crucial call early in the first quarter.
Yeah, AC just stepping into this one. I love the launching. I love how he's just striding on this one, and just it was almost he had to catch this out of self-defense if you're Kerry Watkins. Take a peek at this play. AC really steps into this one and throws a heater. Watch him right there. It really leans into it. Watkins is just out of his break.
Montreal is challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble.
I thought I saw Trestman say to referee Kim Murphy, we think he was down.
By contact. Interesting. I'm not sure if he ever really secures the ball when he lands, or when he lands on his 2 feet, let alone his knee. So a lot to look at here in the command center. He's on the ground there.
Ball was already out.
Ball was already out. Nice job by Johnny Dixon, 2nd-year player from Pearl River Community College, Gord.
It's a tough call.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever had possession. I'll leave this one to the command center. A few folks at home to decide. Yeah, but Johnny Dixon, 2nd-year player from Pearl River Community College.
All right, so they've had a look, and Huffnagel and Trestman will get the
After
decision.
review, the ruling on the field now is an incomplete forward pass. It will be second down on the 29-yard line.
So the ruling, you are correct, Matthew, that Watkins never had possession of the football. And that is a huge break for the Alouettes.
I'm surprised that ball didn't impale Kerry Watkins as hard as Anthony Calvillo threw it. Just catching that one out of self-defense and really never secured it. Big break for the Owls.
So a successful challenge, and it's now second down Montreal from the Alouette 29-yard line. Anthony Calvillo can go over 5,000 yards passing today for the 6th time in his career. Calvillo under pressure, gets away, now have to run. He dives and gets out to the 35-yard line, well short of a first down. Juwan Simpson there on the tackle. It was a gain of 6, and we'll see the first punt of the football game.
Interesting, AC went head first there on trying to find a place to lay down as opposed to giving himself up, sliding feet first, which we saw earlier in the week caused a lot of drama with Stephen Giles being knocked out in the Winnipeg football game.
Sean White just missed. And now Larry Taylor takes this at the 35-yard line. Taylor, a couple of moves, finds a seat, and Larry Taylor's off and running. And gets up to the 48-yard line. The Stampeders with the lead and the football when we come back. 4:30 Pacific for the Calgary Stampeders. Next week home to Winnipeg. Montreal's at BC.
I'm Drew Tate. I'm loving this field position, Gord.
Stamp starts at the 48-yard line, and Tate throws quickly. He's got a pass complete, or should have been complete, to Robbie Bryant, but he can't squeeze it. And Drew Tate, 3 for 5 passing for 81 yards and a touchdown. And we're 10 minutes into the football game.
Tremendous first half last week against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 16 of 20 for 213 yards and a TD, and he took a lot of flack, or a bit of flack, in his second half performance. A lot of people are on him. Fact was, in that game, he only had the ball for 3 plays in the third quarter.
From the shotgun again, Tate fires that outside. And it's complete to Johnny Forzani, but Forzani wrapped up after a gain of 5 by Paul Waldo. And so the Stampeders will be forced to punt.
Yeah, Paul Waldo, 4th-year player from the University of Saskatchewan, playing the field side corner, does a nice job of understanding the down and distance, plays everything in front of him, comes up and makes a sure tackle on the very elusive and fast Johnny Forzani.
And by field side corner, you mean the corner to the wide side, right?
That's correct, Ward. Thank you for picking me up on that one.
On the island out there. It's a long way to go.
There's an island everywhere on this field. You got to be athletes to be covered men in this game.
Bert Dales has a 47-yard punting average this year, and he's got a low driving kick. Slaughter fields it at the 10. Rashad Slaughter tripped up as he gets up to the 17-yard line.
It doesn't look like much from Rashad Slaughter there, but that's, I think, a drastic improvement from Perry Floyd.
Floyd was having trouble catching the football in the first place.
And when he did, he went to the sidelines more times than not. Here, Slaughter goes straight up the football field, gets what he can. Offensive coordinators, head coaches, quarterbacks, they're really appreciative of those unseen yards there. 8-10 yards here makes a big difference.
First down, Calvillo gives to Whitaker. And Brandon Whitaker picks his way across the 20 for a gain of about 5. Tackle on the play was made by Sean Ware. Montreal's won the last 2 meetings here against Calgary by a combined score of 78-20, but the Stampeders would like to tell you that the time before that, the win in Montreal by Calgary, was down the street at the Olympic Stadium in the Grey Cup game.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a tremendous atmosphere and win for the Stampeders.
Calvillo throws, and he's got S.J. Green out to the 37-yard line for a Montreal first down and a gain of 12 yards.
Well, we've got Optimus Prime, we've got two-way Whitaker, and now we've got the beast, S.J. Green. And watch him lay out for this ball. There's a timing ball right there. Extends his arms, rolls, slides on the back of his shoulder pads. Well done. Huge target for AC. Love this guy.
Calvillo picked off 3 times last week. He had 3 interceptions in his previous 12 games. Play fake to Whitaker. Underneath they go, and now it's Richardson out to the 50. And it's another Montreal first down. Tackle the play made by Brandon Smith.
You know, in that ball game last week, the 3 interceptions he threw in 37 attempts, it really looked like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers were in the Montreal Alouettes offensive playbook. Here today, it doesn't look like the Stampeders have that bead or that read on the Owls playbook like the Bombers did last week. Really had AC flustered last week, made him look average, which doesn't happen very often in his 18-year career.
From the shotgun, Calvillo. Looking up top for Jamel Richardson. It is incomplete, and the coverage there for Brandon Smith. And a look now at the Calgary starting D.
Yeah, you know, they mix things up front, right? So I'm going to go with Charleston Hughes playing the rush end, but oftentimes you'll see him in linebacking position. Does a lot of things for the Stamps up front. 7 sacks on the year. We saw him with the critical interception last week. Linebacking core, you talk about another do-all. Keon Raymond, 5 interceptions on the year. Asked to do a lot of things for the Stamps. Jeff Tisdale, the field side corner, is one of the most underrated field side corners in the league.
Underneath they go to Whitaker. He's going to get to the 50-yard line, and he'll come up about 2 yards short. Pick up a 7, and the Alouettes will have to punt again. So this game, which began like a house on fire offensively, has settled down now a little bit as the defenses step up, and these are 2 pretty good defensive teams.
Yeah, they are. The Owls, the best in the league. You heard Jock Climby talk about it at the top of the show. 82.9 yards average given up on the ground. That's tops in the league. We're going to be tested with that Stampeder rushing attack. They know how good Cornish is.
Good kick by White. Chases Taylor back to the 10-yard line. And Taylor gets basically no return as he was wrapped up by Kerry Carter and by Walter Spencer. And so John Cornish and the Calgary offense will face their worst field position of the day.
This guy's been spectacular. Talking to him before the ball game, I told John, I said, as an ex-professional, I really appreciate the way you handled yourself and taking over this position from a future Hall of Famer, Joffrey Reynolds. He does it with production. He does it very quietly. Does it very professionally. John Cornish.
Averaging 9 yards a carry over the last 5 games. And this is Cornish on first down. And it's along to the average outside the 30, the 40. Cornish still going. And finally tackled by Chip Cox at the 47-yard line. It's a gain of 36 yards for Cornish.
Fantastic. You know, and he'll get a lot of credit for this, but watch what happens up front. You know, the guys up front are just man on man. Diamond Ferry gets blown off and run support coming off the edge, creates a big hole for Cornish, and he exploits it. North-south type of runner. Really gashes defense quickly with his speed.
Should be the final play of the first quarter. Play fake to Cornish. Tate looking up top, has a man. It is R.J. Franklin, incomplete, as Chip Cox was there on the coverage. So Calgary with a 14-7 lead as we reach the end of the first quarter. The CFL on TSN returns to Montreal after this. 14-7 lead. Now we mentioned when these teams met in late August, a lot of people were talking about this as being a potential Grey Cup preview. For some reason, Calgary has dropped in a lot of people's estimation.
Well, there hasn't been a lot of consistency throughout the league in 2011, and I think Calgary's just caught up in that. But I believe this is a football team that has continued to work through some adversity and is trying to find and tinker, much like the Ticats, the Bombers, the Argos, and even the Owls here, and trying to find the right ingredients and players and mesh. It's not an exact science. Stampeders seem to have it going here, though, in the first quarter.
Tate throws, and it is incomplete. Looking there for Nick Lewis, who was looking for a penalty. But there will not be one. DeAndre Dix was there on the coverage, and Calgary will have to punt. Stampeders won their first 5 road games of the year. They've lost 3 since.
Yeah, and this is, it's just tight coverage. This is understanding Nick Lewis sits down in the hole, it's jumped, and nicely done. Great timing by DeAndre Dix breaking that up. Nick Lewis saw it, ball was a little late, needs to be untimed, needs to be thrown earlier. I know that's one that Drew Tate, young quarterback from Iowa, would like to have back.
Burkdale's the punt. That's a good one away to Slaughter at the 20. And Rashawn Slaughter looking for the corner. Gets wrapped up with a play by Calgary's Lyle Green. So Calgary here this week. The next week, the Stampeders are home against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, the problem for Calgary is they lost the season series to both BC and to Edmonton. So in order for Calgary to finish first in the West Division, the Stamps would have to win, the Eskimos would have to lose to Saskatchewan, and BC lose to Montreal. But 2 Calgary wins in the last 2 games, and the Stamps will play a home playoff game.
Got that?
Got it?
Got it. It's just been that type of year. You heard me talking about teams trying to work and tinker with the rosters. We've seen Edmonton do it. We've seen BC do it. It's been a phenomenal season to watch coaches adjust their rosters.
First down, Calvillo throws, caught by Terry Watkins on the tip, and he's out to the 42-yard line for a first down.
I was drawn up that way, Gordon. I was talking to guys before the ball game. It was going to be okay. Ricochet off of SJ into Kerry.
And Kerry Watkins shaken up. And he's reaching for his right ankle.
Not good.
So through the hands of SJ Green.
He actually turned his right ankle prior to that ball falling into his hands. It may not be his ankle, maybe his knee. See if we can get a look at it. There he is right there. He kind of got caught up on Juwan Simpson. Right there, they kind of bang knees, I believe, with Juwan Simpson, and he's actually hurt before he even catches that football.
Watkins remains on the field. We'll step away for a moment and return to Montreal after this.
Collision with Simpson right here in the left of your picture right there. It looks like he stepped and rolled on it. And then here on the tackle from Bo Smith.
Back to the ground to Whitaker. And Whitaker evades the tackle of Jeff Tisdale and gets outside for a pickup of maybe 3.
I wasn't sure if Brandon Smith rolled over his ankle there, if he got it from Juwan Simpson, but Kerry Watkins going to be out of the lineup for a little bit. Hopefully he can return. Just 99 yards shy coming to this ball game is 7,500 on his career.
So 2nd and long now for the Alouettes against the Calgary defense that has used 14 different lineups in 16 weeks. Calvillo with time throws, and it's a one-hopper incomplete. Looking there to Brian Bratton. And the Alouettes once again will have to punt.
Oftentimes you're not just asked to catch a ball or run the ball as a running back, but watch Whitaker do his thing on this pass pro for his quarterback. Steps across. Little chip. AC steps up and delivers an incomplete pass.
Calgary's come close to blocking the last couple of kicks, but White gets his high one away. Bounces down and ricochets and flags it down. That'll be no yards against the Alouettes. So the Stampeders with a football, and Drew Tate goes back to work after this.
Those 2 guys.
So end around for Calgary, landed Talley. And Talley out across the 50-yard line. And a first down on a pickup of 13 yards. Chip Cox there on the stop.
Yeah, just trying to get some edge game going, and around the outside, nice lane for Landon Talley.
You know, Matt, Montreal is ranked as the #1 defensive team against the run, but that's because teams run less on them than any other club. In terms of average yards per carry allowed, they're actually middle of the pack.
Corners averaging 11.5 on the day so far.
Tate throws, and it is complete as he finds Nick Lewis for his first catch of the game into Montreal territory and a pickup of 16 yards.
Nick Lewis on Billy Parker, third-year player from William and Mary. Coming right at you in your living room. A little jam there, they call it.
And meeting with him yesterday, Matt, the unlikeliest looking receiver you'll ever see.
Yeah, he's got all the leftover parts, but they work well for Nick Lewis as a receiver in the Canadian Football League.
Here's Cornish on first down. And brought down right away as he ran into Diamond Ferry, and then a pack of Alouettes for a gain of maybe a yard.
Nick Lewis has got massive leg strength. He's so strong from the lower half. His arms are extremely long. He's got huge mitts for hands. And his heart, I think, is just twice the size of most everybody else's on the football field. The guy's phenomenal collection of abilities, and it comes together in a very unique, very productive Canadian Football League receiver.
Second and long, Tate from the shotgun. Throws, and has it complete to Jabari Arthur. And Arthur marked down at about the 34-yard line. Needs the 33 for a Calgary first down. And this will be actually very close to the first down marker.
And this is just another sit down by Jabari, sitting in his zone. Middleman right here is going to come up here and just sit and find the soft spot right in there. And this is just good vision. Sit down. Sit in front of the defense. Now make something happen. Good gang tackling by Montreal, flying to the football, leaving a little bit short.
So decision time for Huffnagel. It's a long yard, and Henry Burris of the short yardage offense will come on for the Stampeders. For the reigning Canadian Football League most outstanding player, who's now only playing on short yardage situations for the Stamps.
We talked about that earlier when Calgary was in scoring position in the touchdown to Cornish, and what a different feeling that must be for Henry Burris to be put in these situations where typically he's coming out of the ball game. Now he's in these short yardage scenarios.
Empty backfield. Burris goes ahead. Did he get it?
Henry Burris, the ball carrier.
The ball came out, but that was after he was down by contact. Looks like his second push got it for him.
I can tell you right now, this is not a good position just from the beginning and Henry may have to work on this a little bit. He's not used to, look at his feet. He's not a very powerful stance there. And now he's got a false step and then push forward. Ball actually comes out, it's on the ground. It gets kicked forward. It's like a rugby scrum in there. The ball is way up. He never had possession of that football. It's on the ground right there. You can see the ball.
Yeah.
And then it gets kicked forward in the scrum.
And you know what? Is Calgary going to challenge this? Montreal rather is going to challenge it.
This is, and we're going to show you what we see here. Henry Burris never had control of this football. I won't be able to see it, I think, from this angle. It was a little too far away, but he's the ball's out now. The ball is down in the pile, and it gets kicked forward in the scrum there. There it is. He never gets the football. The ball is not in his hands there. You can see it right there. It goes to the ground, and then it gets booted forward.
Now, how do you determine who recovered it in that pile of people?
Now you're going to see it get kicked forward. There it goes.
Here it is, right there.
There it is. It's like a rugby scrum. It's way over here.
And an Alouette actually pulled the ball out. And there you see it again on the left side of your screen.
Montreal is challenging the ruling on the field of a player down with the ball with contact.
This is Trestman's second challenge of the football game. If he's incorrect, he's out of challenges for the game.
And they're in, we talked about it, Gord. You brought it up the right time. Henry Burris, short yardage situations. Usually that's Drew Tate territory. That's been topsy-turvy. Now, Henry Burris is in that situation. I showed you his unathletic stance where he's going to have to fall step and drop his right foot before moving forward, which takes time. Let's give another look at it. Watch his right foot. It's going to step back. He loses time here, doesn't get the center quarterback exchange, and this is just from a lack of repetitions.
So it disappears for a bit. It'll reappear right there.
There it is. Watch it getting kicked forward. It's right in here.
Now watch it again. It'll reappear again on the very left-hand side of your screen. It'll roll and roll. You can see the white stripe.
There it is.
There it is, yeah. On the very left. Now watch Billy Parker.
Watch Billy right here. He's going to guy that finally sees it.
This is like a rugby scrum. Okay, the hooker kicks it out.
There it is. Kick it out. Kick it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach in there and snatch it.
I don't think anyone ever had possession of that football. Wow. Now, can you determine that?
Well,
you know what?
The owl and the whistle was blown.
You don't need a replay here. You need an MRI to figure out what's going on there. Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we need to slice that picture in so many different ways.
This is a huge point in the football game, though. With Calgary driving and 9.5 to go in the second quarter.
First quarter was all offense. The second quarter's been all defense. Ebbs and flows of this game, and certainly the 2011 season, have been fascinating to watch, and this game's no different. It's going to be a tough call here. But the lack of repetition for Henry Burris in these short yardage situations comes into play there. What a difficult time and feeling it must be for that 13-year veteran Henry Burris to be in those situations. Just another look.
Just watch for the ball on the far left of your screen at the end.
Ball's on the ground there.
Yeah, no one has it.
It's being kicked forward.
There it is again.
I don't think anybody ever gets this football. It's now way over here
Keep watching, keep watching, and you'll see it right there. Let's go back a bit, and right there.
Where, Gory?
Right there.
That's where you're saying the ball is?
You can just see it right off the leg of Nick Lewis. You can see the football in there.
Yeah, yeah. You're saying somewhere in here?
Yeah. There's the stripe of it, and here comes the call from the Operations Center / MRI.
Good luck with this one.
After review, the ball is ruled a fumble on the play prior to contact. Montreal immediately recovered the ball. It will be first down Montreal on the 32-yard line.
It's a fumble. That's 2 successful challenges for Trestman. So Montreal will have a challenge remaining, and it's a turnover by the Calgary Stampeders.
How Mark Trestman saw that from his vantage point is incredible, because from ours, we had to look at it like 6-7 times. That was fascinating play, and that shows the importance of short yardage practice, repetition, because that center is doing something different than he typically is in another offensive scenario. He is firing out low, and you got to reach and ride him, something we didn't see Henry Burris doing, that causing the turnover.
The 32-yard line, and Brandon Whitaker out to about the 36 for a gain of 4. Now, under the Ken Miller rule, as they now call it, when a team makes 2 successful challenges, it's allowed to have a third. But Montreal has only 1 challenge remaining, no matter how many times Trestman's right.
I'd say you keep letting that ride. If you keep getting them right, you should still get another one.
You know what? That's a good point.
Yeah, just keep getting.
Because actually, if you are right, it shouldn't penalize you.
I'd like to see all scoring plays reviewed automatically in this game.
Second down. Calvillo throws. Carter with the catch. And up to the 44-yard line for a Montreal first down.
There you go. He is a receiver, isn't he, Gordon? He's no longer a fullback. Although he's got the size of a fullback.
I think you have to have 1 carry to be considered a fullback.
He's a very productive receiver. He's coming out of the backfield. He's right here. He's just going to come out of the backfield. Little check and release. That's what we call that. You check your responsibility. They drop off in zone. You just little cross underneath. AC will dump it down to you as an outlet. You pick up a first down.
Calvillo with time. Throws it It's complete to S.J. Green into Calgary territory and down to the 43-yard line for a pickup of 23 yards and a Montreal first down.
SJ is just going to run up and smack the defender and him out and turn around. The ball is going to be delivered. This is what big bodies can do for you. He's right here at the top of your screen. Watch him go up there, collide, say, get off of me. That's it.
Jeff Tisdale got
Smash
buried.
football. That's just get off of me. That's what 6'3", 225 pounds can do for you.
Whitaker slashes off tackle. He got belted down there as he got to the 35-yard line, and Brandon Whitaker got nailed by Demetrius Morley.
Yeah, DeMorley brings the house, and he packs a serious punch. Number 31, first-year player from Tennessee. Listen to this. In training camp, oftentimes you hear coaches screaming for, I want to hear some pads thumping. That's what it sounds like. That's what they're calling for.
Game with 7, 2nd and 3. Whitaker again. First down and more down to the 25-yard line. And a pickup of 10 yards.
This guy is phenomenal. I can't tell you how smooth he is. Just watch the fluidity of this motion here. He's just going forward, cut, pow, right there, hit the crease, untouched. That's fun to watch. That's special, folks, that ability to do that in full flight.
Had 109 yards rushing last week. Second time this year he's been over 100. Calvillo tosses up underneath for Broughton. Brian Broughton around the corner and pushed out of bounds at the 10-yard line as Keon Raymond was the man there on the tackle, but it's another first down, a pickup of 17 yards for Broughton.
Yeah, Brian Bratton's going to come all the way from the opposite side of the football field, and oftentimes what happens is your man that's covering you will get lost in the traffic because there will be rubs, picks, whatever you want to call them, offensively or defensively. Brian Bratton gets free.
Still no Kerry Watkins in the Montreal offense. This is Whitaker on first down. Still going and fights his way down to about the 2-yard line.
Gordy, I like execution. I like precision offensively. When we come to this ballpark, we're typically given an opportunity to see that. And when you talk about Anthony Calvillo breaking all the kinds of records he has this year, Jamel Richardson leading the league in yards and receptions, 11 games over 100 yards, and Brandon Whitaker leading the backs out of the backfield and on the ground. It's special to watch. You've got to acknowledge that. It has been a fun season here in McGill.
Back to the ground. Whitaker this time is tripped up right away. Devon Claybrook's got him, and that will bring up a 3rd and goal for the Alouettes, and it will be a long couple of yards.
Yeah, and that's a scenario where, I don't understand why Adrian McPherson is not in that football game, because you got a guy, you give the defense something to think about on the edge, and with the Brandon Whitaker attack in the middle.
And Montreal's going here.
This is huge.
3rd and goal from the 2. The Alouettes are gambling.
Well, maybe they're just trying to draw him off sides.
Here they go. Calvillo to the goal line. Incomplete. He wanted Brandon London there. London being covered by Jeff Tisdale. So the Alouettes turn it over on downs. Calgary with the ball when we come back.
Coordinator for the Stampeders. Really been under the gun all season long, but he's got to like what he sees from his defensive interior here. And it's Devon Claybrooks. I believe he's going to be right here in this area. Watch what he does. Crosses the face of Woodruff and just falls in on Brandon Whitaker, forcing that 3rd and goal situation, which they didn't capitalize on. Again, crosses the face, digs in there and sets down Whitaker, forcing that 3rd and goal, and they stymie him, keep him out of the end zone.
Now Calgary from its own 2-yard line. Tate under pressure throws, and it's complete as he looked ahead and found Rob Cote for his second catch of the game, and it's a huge one to move the Stampeders out to their 19-yard line.
Wow. Your heart, your mind is racing just a little bit down here, a little bit faster than normal because you know you're standing in the end zone. Anwar Stewart, perennial All-Pro, is in your face. Eric Wilson, just a nasty man from Michigan, is got bad intentions, bearing down on you, and you step up and deliver. Critical play for the Stamps.
Tate again throws incomplete to Larry Taylor, and the Alouettes making sure that's not a live ball as DeAndre Dix picked it up. First 3 possessions of this game resulted in touchdowns. Since then, 5 punts and 2 turnovers.
That's football. Game of momentum. Defensive woke up in the second quarter. And they've been flexing their muscles. They get paid too. Both sides, Calgary and Montreal defense is stepping up here big time in the second quarter.
Alouettes allow the fewest plays per game of any defense in the league. Second down. Tate looking over the top, and it is complete. What a catch by Robbie Bryant. Bryant being covered by Seth Williams, but makes the grab out to the 52-yard line for a pickup of 34 yards.
Robbie Bryant he's been injured this year, has worked through a lot of injury, and this ball is thrown beautifully over the top. Seth Williams can't do anything about that. Just excellent execution by the Stampeders on the road.
3-minute warning here in Montreal. This drive began at the Calgary 2-yard line. Now the Stamps are 1st and 10 from their own 52. John Cornish gets out across the 50-yard line for a pickup of 3.
Is it the throw or is it the catch, Gord? Is it the throw from Tate or is it the catch from Bryant?
Both are pretty good, but the catch is unbelievable.
Yeah, Bryant just using his speed. Seth Williams just trying to hang on. Bobbling it here, secures it, gets his left arm underneath it, rolls on the shoulder pads. Drew Tate appreciates that. Says, thank you, run back.
Like Tiger Woods after a birdie. That move is not in use, so Tate can use it. Tate throws again, incomplete. Reynolds fumbled the football, picked up now. And Greg Laybourne is off to the races. Still going, and out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Ruled a catch and a fumble. And the Alouettes have the ball back at the 2-yard line after a 60-yard return. Mark Buryett's the man who knocked it out.
On a strong hit on Joffrey Reynolds coming out of the backfield. He redirects, goes low. Greg Laybourne hustling down the sidelines. Sometimes, yeah, ball just came out. Joffrey never able to secure it. Laybourne from Oregon State, first-year player.
And Calgary's going to challenge this.
I think John Huffnagle is going to challenge whether or not Joffrey actually caught the football and secured it, much like when we saw Kerry Watkins put one on the ground and was overturned.
That looked like a catch, did it not, Matt?
Yeah, it looked like a catch the first time I saw it.
Calgary's fumbled the ball in its last 2 touches if this call on the field is upheld.
Just a small thing. I like how Briette
Calgary is challenging the ruling on the field.
Tackles Joffrey Reynolds, not only with his shoulder pads, but his arms as well, and he wraps them right there, and the ball's out.
Now, Matt, you talked about making a football move or making a move with the ball when you make the catch, and it did appear as though Reynolds makes the catch,
catches it,
turns, tucks.
That's fumble. Looks like the top of Boulette's helmet actually clips Reynolds' left arm, which the ball should be in the other hand, the offhand. Right there, as it is, the ball's in the near hand, and it comes out.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Montreal.
unsuccessful challenge by John Huffney. And so the Alouettes, who gambled on 3rd and goal from the 2, wind up back there with a first down. As Johnny Cash said, it's a big wheel. Sometimes it takes a long time to go around.
They got AC working it down here. Keeping their options alive. I think they have more options than Agent McPherson's down here.
Back to the ground, Whitaker, close, and looking, and no sign yet.
Well, the side judges, or the head linesmen,
mark him down at the 1.
they didn't move from the side, so clearly he was down before getting in the end zone.
You can't be closer than the 1, so that's where they'll spot it. 2nd and goal from there, and McPherson is in. Fighting, touchdown.
That's what I was looking for a couple series ago.
Fourth touchdown run of the air for Adrian McPherson, the short yardage specialist for the Alouettes.
Talking to Adrian before the game, he doesn't mind doing this. He knows he's backing up a legend, but he's really getting antsy to play and perform in the Canadian Football League.
White puts the point after, up and through, and so the Alouettes have tied the score with 1:59 to go in the first half, even at 14 apiece.
Turnovers will actually just crush you. Telling story of most wins and losses in football. Ball's in Joffrey's hands, on the ground. Laybourne, first-year player from Oregon State, picks it up, moves it down.
Well, 2 costly turnovers by the Calgary Stampeders. One in a short yardage play when you're driving deep in Montreal territory, and the other, after getting the ball back at your 2, you're at midfield, and then fumble a routine pass and catch.
2 veteran football players for the Stamps, Henry Burris and Joffrey Reynolds, involved in those turnovers.
And 2 veteran players who lost their starting job.
Absolutely, and certainly Montreal has taken advantage.
So even at 14 now in this fascinating slugfest. Calgary, by the way, the last team to win twice in Montreal in 1 year. That was 2008, 1 year in the regular season, and then one over at the Big O in the Grey Cup game. White, low kickoff, taken by Keon Raymond at the 28-yard line, and Raymond busting free out across the 50 to the 51-yard line. That's where Calgary will have the football with 1:53 to go.
You know, Walter Spencer got burnt earlier in the football game, you know, not containing, but boy, he's special on the teams, and he flies down and makes things happen, takes on the player, and it hangs on, gets him another special teams tackle. Unheralded those guys are on the teams that fly down there and make things happen. Walter Spencer's one of the best in the league.
Underpaid, too.
Everybody's underpaid here, Gordon, in the Canadian Football League.
Oh, the shovel pass underneath. As Tate going to head to Cornish, but he's held for no gain. If John, or rather, if Drew Tate ran that with the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, everything's great, you know, but nobody's going to block this man right here. Watch. Little shovel. Just Diamond Ferry says, I'm going to get in there. Then Anwar actually comes off, and he makes the play as the offensive lineman sifts up to the second level and gets on Diamond Ferry.
Tate on second down throws, and he's got to complete to Jabari Arthur, but Arthur held short of a first down, and the Stamps have failed now on 5 of the last 6 second down plays to get a first down.
And, you know, it's really not anything that Drew Tate is doing wrong. You know, he's delivered on several occasions in that span, and a couple of turnovers. And they find themselves in a tie ball game and punting the football away again.
Ferry was questionable to play today because of a stomach ailment that had held him out of practice for a couple of days.
And he told me, he says, "Matt, it's like a playoff game. I'm dressing."
Booming cut punt by Dales. Slaughter goes over his head into the end zone. And that'll be one for Montreal. Or for Calgary, rather, as the Stamps will take the lead. And so now, Anthony Calvillo is 39 years old. This is the final home game of the regular season for the Montreal Alouettes. Now, he hasn't said anything about his future, but Matt, it's quite possible this is his last game in this stadium.
Gord, you proposed that scenario to me earlier, and you know, it's an eye-opener when you think about that.
Because the Alouettes' next home playoff game will be at the Olympic Stadium.
Yep. And I'm not sure if there's many people in the stands that are thinking along those terms, but you're absolutely right. That could be a definite possibility depending on how this season ends up.
Under Mark Trestman, the Alouettes at home are 29-6. Calvillo throws underneath to Whitaker, and Whitaker spins across the 40 to the 41-yard line. As I mentioned when talking with him yesterday, he has not talked about retirement, but he knows that at some point it'll come. He's won the last 2 Grey Cups. He could be the most outstanding player in the league again this year if he can just get the Montreal nomination.
Yeah, he's been special for 18 years. 300-yard passing games, he's done it 113 times. 400-yard passing games, done it 28 times. 500-yard passing games, he's done it 3 times. This guy has been special to watch, and I just hope that people are...
Timer reset the game clock to 53.3 seconds.
Understanding that they're watching history. They're watching one of the best, if not the best, to ever play the game in both leagues.
Asked John Huffnagel yesterday where he'd rank Anthony Calvillo among CFL quarterbacks all time. He looked at the ceiling and said, really high.
Typical Huffer's response.
Yeah, he's not going to give you the definitive answer. Second down. Calvillo heaves that for London, incomplete. And bearing down on him was Johnny Dixon, the corner. And so Montreal will have to punt with 45 seconds to go in the first half.
Well, we've seen Calgary defense really step up here in the second quarter, you know, stopping them and basically second and goal situation prior to them going with the turnover and putting them back down there, and then they backs up against the wall, couldn't hold them there, and now they got a 2 and out here.
White gets it away. This is Taylor at the 31. Flag is down at midfield. Taylor's around the corner, but tripped up on the play by Montreal's Seth Williams. 38-yard punt. Walter Spencer there on the coverage as well, and we'll see what the flag is about.
So, Gordon, my point being on the Calgary defense, they're doing their job. They're doing a nice job. Their backs have been put against the wall a couple of times here in the second quarter, but they've responded. I'm going to see what Drew Tate can do with just under 34 seconds to go.
Holding. Calgary number 47. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Have a look at Walter Spencer.
He's trying to give guys some love, and it gets called for holding. Yeah. Well, he's still not done. Oh, and he takes one in the back from Antwi, and they're still John. Gotta love that. The battle within the back.
Reversing his tracks, buried by Bowman after Chip Cox got his arms wrapped around him.
What is going on? I mean, that is so unlike John Cornish to just be caught flat-footed in the backfield. Usually he's downhill, very decisive, and absolutely
Montreal.
nothing here. He's just stymied right there. Chip Cox breaking down, showing you how to tackle, and elusive back in the backfield for a loss. You know, Gordon, when we were driving to the park earlier, we see somebody that we recognize on the walking on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Wearing a really nice Montreal Alouettes top.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good merchandise.
And who was it? Chip Cox.
Yeah, Chip Cox walking to the game.
Walking to the game, walking by people, not even recognizing them. Just anonymity of being a CFL player sometimes amazes.
Whistle sounded before that play. Of course, everyone recognized you on the way into the park, so it's completely different when you're a Hall of Fame quarterback wearing your sunglasses and strutting around on the field. Huh?
Come on.
Your Chip had a hat pulled down, his jacket
like,
up. He was trying to be anonymous.
I was like a fan. I was in the cab going, there's Chip Cox. There's Chip Cox. I was like, the guy's a phenomenal player. Showing you his ability to tackle.
3 times he's been the CFL Defensive Player of the Week. The question, much like the most outstanding player argument, who's the top defensive player in the league? Well, if you can get the Montreal nomination, you have a good chance to win. Anwar Stewart's having a great year. One off the CFL sack lead coming into this week. Chip Cox has been tremendous. John Bowman rather than Anwar Stewart, sorry. Bowman's got 12 sacks.
Yeah, you know, Jarrell Freeman out in Saskatchewan. A lot of talk about him.
Odell Willis.
Right? But Odell has been banged up. It's kind of jeopardized his position as far as that conversation.
Calgary, number
He's got to be
63.
considered.
That penalty is declined. The clock will start on the referee's signal. Reset the clock to 27 seconds, please.
I mean, even what Byron Parker's done in Toronto, it's been phenomenal. You know, now the leader in CFL history in pick for sixes. 9 over the course of his career. Byron Parker, congratulations for that phenomenal feat.
Second down. And they'll give the ball back to Cornish, and Cornish into the Montreal backfield gets up to the 33-yard line. And that'll bring one more play in the football game.
He had to get his average yards per carry up again because that last one's just not going to cut it, so he busted one off there for 12 or whatever it was. The guy is usually a downhill runner, very decisive, explosive, and just showed you how good Chip Cox really is to be able to bring him down play before last.
So Tate, who began this game with touchdowns on the opening 2 possessions, sees his team go to the locker room with a 15-14 lead in what's been a great clash between 2 very good football teams. Halftimes here in Montreal. Coming up, CFL at the half. Calgary, the 1-point lead as we get set for the second half. And here is Montreal's Brandon Whitaker with our Michael Whalen.
Brandon, it looked like we were going to have a wide open game there, judging from the first quarter, but then yards really became hard to come by, especially close to the goal.
Yeah, you know, they got a really good front, and it's just one of those things. I got to get in the end zone, and I didn't. So, you know, we got a whole nother half to get better and execute a lot better, so we're just going to come out and play better.
Were you surprised that the coach went for it on 3rd and 2 near the goal line like that rather than take the point?
Oh, no, not at all. You know, he has trust in our offensive line and in us, so we just got to make him right when he does that.
Okay, good luck to you in the second half. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
All right, so Trestman was a busy man in that first half, decided to go for it on 3rd and goal from the 2. He challenged 2 plays successfully, had to call a late timeout. He was coaching to beat the band, and that's not something we've seen in late October in Montreal. Trestman saying to us yesterday, one of the refreshing things for the Alouettes is they've got a good record, but the fact is they've got company near the top of the CFL's East Division.
Different season in 2011. A lot of ebbs and flows.
Slaughter takes the kickoff at the 14-yard line. And Rashad Slaughter's got a seam and gets out to the 32. So these 2 guys came out slinging to start the game, and between them have thrown only 10 incompletions, but things slowed down in that second quarter. By the way, Trestman talking about the Alouettes' great record. Their 10-6 mark is actually their worst record at this point in the season since 2007. When you're 10-6 and that's a slump, you got a good football team.
Yeah, absolutely. And Edmonton starts out 5-0. Now they're 5-7 in their last 12 games.
Here's Whitaker. And Whitaker dives up to the 38-yard line. You heard him talk to Michael Whalen there about making the coach right.
I love that mentality. You know, it's our job to go out there and execute. Coach calls for us to go out there. He believes in us, the offensive line, the ability to make things happen. We got to make him right. Felt like he let his coach down. They got to play better in the second half. It's simple as that. You have to execute in those situations, those plays that make a difference throughout a ball game.
Anthony Calvillo, in his last 5 games against Calgary, has thrown 14 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions. Calvillo throws, complete to S.J. Green, steps out of bounds at the 46-yard line for Montreal first down.
You know, Mark Trestman talking about how he has company at the top, you know, and it's a very difficult season to understand. This is just a simple read. 2 guys are taking one. AC reads that out, sticks it on the money. But there's a lot of ebbs and flows of the season. Edmonton's season starting out 5-0 and then really struggling as of late. BC, you know, couldn't find their groove. Now they're on fire.
Matt,
Winnipeg, same situation.
If you had to make a living gambling on CFL games, you'd go broke.
Absolutely.
Calvillo throws for Green. That pass is incomplete. Of course, Chris Schultz makes a living predicting CFL games for us in risky business.
He does a nice job with that, too.
Sorry, Schultz against the world.
Schultz against the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, does a great job with that. Puts a lot of time into that, and often catches a lot of heat from people, you know, on the street because of that position. But does a great job with it.
I don't know if I want to get in the face of the 6'9" guy.
No.
Calvillo on second down. Gonna run, lost the football. The ball is out, and the Stampeders have it.
Charleston Hughes.
Eric Fraser recovers it after Charleston Hughes knocked it out, and the Stampeders have it back.
Yeah, Charleston Hughes, second forced fumble on the season. And Mr. Fraser, number 7, does a nice job of gathering this one up. AC stepping up, ball's kind of loose. Charleston comes across, folds in. Fraser's there recovering the fumble.
First down, Stampeders take fires, and it's complete as he finds Johnny Forzani. And Forzani close to a first down as he gets to the 46-yard line of the Alouettes.
If you just go through the free safeties that have really stepped up this season across the league, I think you'd be impressed with the talent that we've seen and the play that we've seen from our free safeties across this league. And Fraser is one of them. He's really, I think, having an outstanding year coming on as of late, being an impactful player when his team needs him the most, and there we saw it on that play.
Henry Burris in with a short yardage offense. Takes it, and his initial progress should have got it for him, but again,
Sneak school. Telling you, Henry needs to go at least a semester and climb in my sneak school, because that, I'm not sold on this. I'm not sold on that they're comfortable with what's going on. From the ball being put on the ground to this lack of surge, it just doesn't look good. That's tough sledding in there, and Henry's finding that out. Been a while since he's done those, but that's what he's asked to do at this point. Got the job done on that play.
Has a pretty famous neighbor in Calgary. Lives on the same street as the Prime Minister. Tate hit, throws it up, and it's caught. Forzani's got it down the 32-yard line after Tate got drilled by Eric Wilson. And that ball flooded up in the air, but caught by Forzani.
Eric Wilson, check him out right here. I don't know how Tate completes this, because he's got Eric Wilson from the University of Michigan living in his left hip, cutting him in half, and he floats the ball up there and spots it for Forzani. who gathers it up and shows you his hops.
Down from the 32. Tate wants more, looking deep, incomplete, trying to find Landon Talley. And he was covered there step for step by Montreal's Jeff Heck, the safety.
Yeah, it's a skinny post right here by Landon Talley. Really never pushed Billy Parker out of his back pedaling hard enough. And then you've got Jeff Heck coming from the free safety spot. Montreal was all over that. Well covered in the back end for the Alouettes.
Second down, here comes the rush. Tate with time, throw, intercepted by Cox. Chip Cox has the pick and takes the ball out to the 31-yard line. Alouettes, after a turnover, get one back and have the football.
Here, Montreal looks like they're in Calgary's playbook, and they actually run this route. Chip Cox does a nice job of recognizing. This is video study. This is preparation. Pays off on an interception. We'll show that to you in just a second.
Third turnover by the Stampeders. This is Whitaker on first down. He got buried by a wall of Stampeders.
4 people involved in this play defensively for Montreal. Excellent job. Waldo out here. You've got DeAndre Dix. You're going to have Heck come in here. And then you got Cox, who's just going to undercut this. Waldo's going to maintain his position outside, let the receiver come to him. DeAndre Dix can take over the top, and Cox is going to undercut the out route with Heck coming over the top. Well played defensively. Turnover, Montreal.
Drew Tate, who did not throw an incompletion in his first 150 attempts as a CFL quarterback. He's now been picked off 3 times. Calvillo on second down, throws incomplete. Looking there for Brian Bratton. Kerry Watkins shaken up for Montreal in the first half. We have not seen him return to the Owls offense, and Montreal will once again have to punt.
Yeah, it looked like Drew Tate was really taking that one personally on the sidelines, anguishing and disgust over his decision and turn that football over, knowing how important this game is for his teammates.
Well, as you can advise, Matt, after the first couple of hundred, they all just kind of bounce off.
Absolutely. That's what I told him yesterday. Just relax, son. So you've been in the league for 5 years and only thrown 2 picks. So I was in the league for 14 through 211.
15-14, Calgary leads in the third quarter. In Alberta, and we at TSN want to add our voices of condolence to the families and friends of those who were lost. First and 10 for the Stampeders after the turnover, and John Cornish goes leaping up to the 48-yard line. So Brian Ridgway and others from Grand Prairie are encouraging people to help out the families of Matt Deller, Vincent Stover, Tanner Hildebrand, and Walter Borden-Wilkins. There's the account number. And for Zachary Judd, who remains in hospital in Edmonton, the account number is there as well. And you can look those up online and see how you can help. Second down. Tate looks underneath, and the pass is caught by Calgary's R.J. Franklin, and Franklin's got a first down into Montreal territory at the 47-yard line. Gain of 14 yards.
Well, really well designed. Plenty of options for Drew Tate in this play. You're going to watch Larry Taylor come out of here and sneak up in the sidelines. I got to believe that Drew Tate may have missed this one here. And right there, he is running scot-free, but Tate's already out underneath, picking up the critical first down.
Direct snap now. And around the end goes Talley. And Landon Talley with his second carry of the game inside the 30 down to the 29-yard line. Pickup of 18 yards of the play. Was that a direct snap to Talley?
It happened so fast, and the mesh was so quick when the ball got to Tate, it almost looked like a direct snap. But it actually hits Tate in the hands, and then he takes it right in front of him. That's crazy. Tate expected to catch it and hand it off, but it happened so fast. Talley just took it. Wow. Living on the edge, Gord.
Pump fake, Tate fires underneath. And the pass is caught by Arthur, and Jabari Arthur wrestled down on the ground by Diamond Ferry. They're into it now. And Montreal hollering for a flag as Arthur got pushing and shoving, and the gain was 4.
That's a big body just sitting down for Drew Tate. He's going to find the soft spot right in front of Tate. Tate finds the big body, 6'4", goes about 235. And then testosterone takes over.
Second and 7. Tate on the quarterback draw. He's got a convoy in front of him. Tate still going. And out of bounds at the 10-yard line. And Drew Tate was running all the way.
Yeah, he was. And he was going north-south. Looks like he was headed to the end zone. Then he started veering left, and he just couldn't help himself and ran right out of bounds. But a well-designed play, well executed, too. Had a posse out in front of him. Receiving core was blocking for him downfield very nicely. And Drew Tate has a huge pickup. Actually outrunning his offensive lineman, Stanley Bryant. Stanley tried to keep up with the elusive Tate. Regardless, big pickup.
First down at the 10. Tate finds Bryant. And Bryant closely covered by Seth Williams on the play.
Ouch.
He gets down to about the 6.
Ouch. Boy, Romby, a little slow to get up, wobbly. Yeah, look at that. He's struggling. Yeah. Oh, get your feet. He's going to get looked after. This is blitz is coming from the field. Drew Tate sees it, gets rid of the football, and then he gets sandwiched by Seth Williams and Diamond Ferry. Takes one right underneath the jaw.
Matt, you were telling Drew Tate the story about interceptions. And I want you to share it with us about your experience with Don Matthews.
Oh, well, I've told the story once before in the past, but it's a great story. Don Matthews called me in his office first time he became an Argonaut. He said, Matt, you know the type of coach I am. I'm a one quarterback kind of guy. He said, if you throw 5 picks in a game, don't come to the sidelines hanging your head. You're going to get a chance to throw 6. Well, that season, I put that mindset to test. I threw 7 picks against Winnipeg, and I came to the sidelines with a big grin on my face and said, Don, am I going to get a chance to throw 8? He said, sit your butt down. Tested that theory. And Gord, I could have thrown 12 that day if the Winnipeg defense could catch.
Second down, Tate to the end zone. Touchdown! Johnny Borzani, no catch. Looked like he had it for the moment, but it's no catch, and there's a flag down in the end zone. Paul Waldo there on the coverage. I thought Forzani had it long enough for a touchdown.
Pass interference. Montreal number 45. Fraction took place in goal. First down on the 1-yard line.
Another pass interference call in the end zone. Gives Calgary a first and goal from the 1.
Paul Waldo's the man who's caught for the PI.
Nope, no catch.
I don't see it. It had to happen before the ball was thrown in the air, obstructing Forzani's opportunity to get upfield. Oh, boy, arm fighting. Well, that's twice we've seen that called. Yeah, I guess when he grabs somebody's left arm like that and impeding him from using it, trying to catch a football, that was heads-up call in the end zone.
Now Burris with the short yardage offense come right back out. Cornish. Touchdown. Just pushed the pile into the end zone. And the Calgary Stampeders, off another pass interference call against the Alouettes, have added to their lead.
Oh, man. Cornish kind of did his own blocking, just ran right in the back.
Just took Volke into the end zone with him.
Absolutely. Volke, you're a D lineman. It's not how you block. Let me show you how you do this. Pushed him in the end zone.
You see it too. You see it in the block.
Wow.
Second touchdown run of the game for Cornish. And the Calgary Stampeders now up 8, 22-14 here in the third quarter.
Where we are, Gord, right up there.
Are we live?
We live?
Hey, what up? That one's for the Warriors. That one's for the Warriors right there.
Oh, nice. Nice touch, John Cornish. Talking to the team from Grand Prairie.
Slaughter from the 17-yard line, looking for a big return, beats the first wave. That's up to the 35-yard line. Back was led by Akwasi Antwi, and here's Michael Whalen.
Gord, just before the half, actually, Kerry Watkins came out in crutches, and we were told that he has sustained an ankle injury to his right ankle, and he's been taken to the hospital for x-rays. So expect to see Brandon London and Eric Deslauriers in the Alouettes receivers corps from here on in.
And if that's any kind of long-term injury, that's a pretty serious blow to Mark Trestman and the Alouettes as the playoffs approach. First down, Calvillo fires, incomplete for Jamel Richardson. Jamel Richardson, by the way, comes into this game with 5 straight 100-yard receiving games and 11 on the year, which ties the Canadian Football League record, first set by Hal Patterson back in the 50s. Now, Patterson did it in a 14-game season, since equaled by Joey Walters, Terry Greer, and Alan Pitts, the great Calgary Stampeder. So Richardson with 100 yards either this week or next would break that CFL record. Look out. Way offside there was Eric Deslauriers. Richardson having a quiet day so far. 2 catches for 38 yards.
That is elite company right there. Jamel Richardson making it look
Offside.
easy.
Calgary, number
This one
39,
right here.
5-yard penalty
That
remains
right
second
there.
down.
That's consistency. That's getting her done.
So the offside brings up a 2nd and 5 for the Alouettes. Of course, last week, Tarleton Hughes had that big interception and a 67-yard return that set up a touchdown by the Calgary Stampeders.
Ill-advised throw by Darian Durant, if I remember correctly. Stepped in front of the man and ran down to the 4-yard line. We had a chuckle about that because he shut her down. He shut her down too early.
2nd and 5. Calvillo throws, and that pass batted at the line of scrimmage, falls incomplete. He was looking there for Richardson, and once again, Montreal will have to punt.
Looks like Devon Claybrook's got his hands up, batted that football down. Well, we saw a lot of batted balls in that Argo-Winnipeg game on Friday night. And here we see another one right here, just coming off on a little twist. That might have been McCoy, Chris McCoy, first-year player from Middle Tennessee State, got his hands on that one.
White to punt. Look out! And almost getting that punt was Calgary's Johnny Dixon. Bounces down to Taylor at the 35-yard line, and Taylor goes out of bounds right there. Well, today is Purolator Tackle Hunger Day here in Montreal. The Alouettes have the advantage over the other teams in the league. They can bring the Grey Cup to their Tackle Hunger Day. So the food drive going on today as fans brought food to all the entrances on this beautiful day here in Montreal. So let's bring in the Purolator Sack Tally, brought to you by Purolator, tackling hunger across Canada. Check. Montreal now with 36 sacks on the year. Calgary last in the league with 24. Calgary defense actually has had its struggles this year due to injuries and other things, but they have 55 points to Hamilton this year, the most given up by a defense this year. Touchdowns, they tied for the most allowed. Points, they tied for the most allowed. And there's a completion to Tally out to the 48-yard line and a Calgary first down.
These guys, I think, had a really nice connection going on. Drew Tate and Tally. I really believe they've found, oftentimes you hear about that, the rapport between a quarterback and receiver. I see one developing here right before our eyes. Atlanta Tally and Drew Tate.
And Kenyon Randall still on the lineup for Calgary with a bad Achilles. Tate goes underneath, but that pass is incomplete for Cornish. It'll bring up second down. And Matt, when a backup quarterback takes over as a starter quite often, he might have more chemistry with a player who is not a frontline guy, a guy he throws more to in practice.
Yeah, and I tried to get that out of John Huffnagel yesterday when I had a chance to talk to him, and if in fact that was the case, and he really never gave me anything that would lead on to that, but you often do see that. The time that they have throwing the ball to each other with the look team, the scout team, and just working with each other, that chemistry's developed at that time, and it carries over when he gets his chance.
Tate's under pressure, now fires back to Cornish, but Cornish is wrapped up by Diamond Ferry. And there'll be a loss of a yard on the play. Now under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, what has turned into a defensive struggle between the Alouettes and Stampeders.
Diamond Ferry really closing fast, well defended, sure tackle. Fiery player, not very big in stature, but boy, does he ever play big. He's plays with a big-time chip on his shoulder.
Birkdale's last punt went for 74 yards and a single. He had an 82-yard punt against Montreal in the first meeting. Slaughter from the 13-yard line, and he is tripped up on a good special teams play by Calgary's Justin Kahn. So Anthony Calvillo knows what it's like to break into the league and make your first couple of starts. We asked him what he thought about Drew Tate.
All I can remember is me, going into a game as a young quarterback and going against, the experienced quarterbacks in this league, like, Doug Flutie and Matt Dunnigan. And it did cross my mind because I wanted to be as consistent as they were. And I'm sure, Tate is going to get his opportunity. He's a great young quarterback that's looking good on film. And the challenge for every quarterback, whether you play for many years or a few years or a couple games, you got to do it week in and week out.
There's a pass complete to Jamel Richardson, who gets it done week in, week out. That's the tough part, right, Matt?
It is. You're called on to prepare yourself week in, week out. You have to go through the proper steps in order to make that happen. Focus. So many things. You're being pulled in so many different directions, and yet you've got to maintain your focus on getting the job done between the lines. And AC's shown a lot of young quarterbacks how to do that over his 18-year career.
He's coming off 3 picks last week. And off to Whitaker. And Whitaker out close to the 40-yard line. Was wrapped up pretty quickly by Robert McCune.
3 picks and 37 attempts last week. Very uncharacteristic of Anthony Calvillo. You look at his body of work over the last 2 years. Dave Naylor is quoted as one of his articles saying in the last 2 seasons, in 1,112 attempts, only 13 interceptions for Anthony Calvillo. So that just goes to show you how uncharacteristic last week's performance was from this all-pro quarterback.
And how good Winnipeg's defense is.
Absolutely. They played phenomenally well.
Second down. Calvillo steps up and throws for Bratton. Incomplete. Third over his head. And that will once again force the Alouettes to punt.
Calgary Stampeders defense, you cannot deny the effort that they put forward over the last couple of quarters of play. Really stepped it up here. Several times have really gotten momentum back for their offense and given their offensive team an opportunity to regroup and find their rhythm.
Calgary came into this week having allowed the most touchdowns, tied with Saskatchewan the most, and the most passing touchdowns, tied with Toronto the most. What do Toronto and Saskatchewan have in common? Not going to the playoffs. Here's a direct snap on the punt. Brouillette's got it, and room to run. Brouillette into Calgary territory. They're going to get it inside the 20. Brouillette, touchdown Montreal, the fake punt. Mark Brouillette goes 72 yards on the direct snap. And the Alouettes are right back in it.
Where do you start with that one, Gord? Boy, this kid is phenomenal. What a play call. 3rd and 5. Game's kind of in the balance. You really need something good to happen for you. And the Alouettes pull off a fake punt, Brouillet's showing you his pure athletic ability. Quarterback coming out of college, University of Montreal, playing free safety, linebacker, special teams for the Alouettes, showing you his athletic ability.
Andy Bischoff, the special teams coach, and a big congratulations for Brouillet, who's got his first career CFL touchdown. Comes at a big point in an important game.
Direct snap right here, and then it really catches Calgary special teams off guard. Up the gut, bounces it outside.
You got Ramon Guzman in front of him.
Hey, and Ramon can run. I've been impressed with his speed all season long, and he's running. That's a big boy, 6'3", 240, rolling down there, leading Brouillet in the end zone.
Sean White sold it too. White made it look like a high snap. And Brouillet jets to the end zone.
Oh, that's got to be fun. One, just to have the ability to do that and outrun everybody in the end zone is a mystery to me, but it's got to be fun. That's got to be fun to have that opportunity, and when you do, make it happen.
There's lots of teams that have gadget plays on special teams. Toronto's famous for doing it. Lots of other clubs. Montreal's not one of those teams.
No, not really. They beat you with execution offensively and defensively, but you don't see a lot of the gadgets. But Andy Bischoff, outstanding job. Well-timed, well-executed play for the Alouettes, and much needed.
No, not yet. I don't know where he is with it.
Lost the ball. He's worried about the ball.
His first career touchdown. I'd want that ball too. Hey, they found AC's record breaker in the stands. They'll find that one.
Now Taylor takes the kickoff from the 18-yard line. And Taylor brought down at about the 33, so the Calgary Stampeders up by 1 again with 15 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Brouillet still on the sidelines, sucking back oxygen. Trying to recoup after that.
By the way,
fantastic moment.
Calgary had the lead at halftime. The Stamps are 6-0 this year when they lead at the half. They're the only team that's undefeated when they lead at halftime. It wasn't the ball that he lost his helmet.
How do you do that? Come on.
Play fake. Tate throws, and it's complete to Nick Lewis. And Lewis is having a quiet afternoon, gets up to the 48-yard line for a pickup of 15 yards. Calgary up by 1 as we head to the fourth quarter in Montreal. Turnover's a big story, though. 3 by the Calgary Stampeders to 2 by the Montreal Alouettes. And Matt, we came into this game talking about the high-powered Alouettes against the high-powered Stampeders, 2 teams that really put on offensive shows and they play each other. This has been a great defensive game today.
After that first quarter, it's been all defense. Defense is picking up. Their offense is constantly shutting people down on goal line stances. We saw Charleston Hughes slap the ball out of the ball carrier's hands. Eric Frazier come over the big play. We've seen it across the board. Defense is rising up, making things happen, whether it's batted balls, interceptions, Chip Cox just basically running a route for a Stampeder. Tremendous defense last 2 quarters.
Tate throws, it's picked up. Intercepted by Billy Parker. And a flag comes down at the end of the play, but Billy Parker with the interception and a 4th turnover by the Stampeders comes on the opening play of the fourth quarter.
And again, on cue, Billy Parker steps underneath the Drew Tate pass. He's right here. He's just going to kind of undercut it. Tate gets pressured.
After the interception, major foul, unnecessary roughness. Montreal number 96, 15 yards from the end of play, first down.
JP Makaziak's call for the unnecessary roughness after the interception.
It was on Drew Tate. JP just jacks him up in the back at the end of the play. And
have a look.
Yeah, just watch Drew. Here comes Makaziak. A little dab, little Vlade Divac dive there. Very nice. Little basketball.
So Matt, Drew Tate, in 2 starts now, this is his 2nd pro start, has thrown some touchdowns, but also 4 interceptions.
Yeah, well, he's learning. learning on the fly in some critical games. Last week, must win against Saskatchewan, and certainly here on the road, got to make it happen and correct that as quickly as possible.
Whitaker on the carry, gets out to the Calgary 50-yard line.
With learning on the fly, Gordon, a lot of talk over the past week about, well, he did that against Saskatchewan last week. How's he going to react against Montreal and their defense and what they pose? For the most part, I think he's done outstanding. But, some big plays, and I credit Montreal defense for stepping up and making those things happen.
Billy Parker, the only defensive back who began the year as a starter for Montreal. There's a pass caught by S.J. Green, but will be close to a first down. By the way, Gerald Brown's been practicing with the Alouettes. He's on the 9-game injury list. He could be back in time for the playoffs. That would be a huge addition for the Alouettes.
Because they've lost 4 starters in that secondary, along with Shea Emery in the middle, their starting middle linebacker at the beginning of the season.
They've used 10 defensive backs. It's 3rd and a yard for the Alouettes. And Calvillo is calling the short yardage offense for a moment and trying to call them off the field, and now there's some confusion for the Alouettes about who's coming in. Sean White is on the field for the Alouettes.
So is Adrian McPherson.
So is McPherson. What is going on here? McPherson spun around. Did he get there? Did he get the first down?
I'm not sure if he
now there's a flag down.
Well, now there's a flag, it looks like, on Montreal after the play was dead.
What was going on there?
Well, more trickery from Bischoff and the Montreal Alouette special teams. Faked like they're going to be a punt formation. Adrian McPherson stepped up underneath the center, tried to quarterback sneak and catch Calgary's defense and special teams off guard, and I'm not sure if it's worked for him.
There's an unnecessary roughness penalty against Montreal at the end of it, but the other question is, did McPherson get the first down or not?
I don't think he did. I think he...
Well, he looks way short. This looks short from here.
So typically, yeah, he is short, Gordon.
Yeah, he didn't get it. So it's a turnover on downs by the Alouettes, plus a 15-yard penalty. Calgary, the 1-point lead, and a big chance when we come back.
In his hands like he's disgusted with the play call, not having the opportunity to go for it, but this is all trying to set up the Calgary defense and special teams. Chip Cox busts out to the right, and then you're going to see Sean White kick out to his left. Adrian McPherson's underneath the center, and they're going to try to quick snap this and pick up an easy first down. More trickery from the Montreal special teams, and it backfires on him.
Now we got a direct snap to Cornish. And Cornish gets down to the 45-yard line. You tack on the penalty to Bork, and it gives Calgary a first down at the Montreal 49-yard line with a 1-point lead and 13 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
The ebbs and flows continue in 2011. This game has mimicked what we've been seeing all seasons long, week after week, game after game. It's just unpredictable.
Actually reminds me a little bit of the 08 Grey Cup, which is kind of a slugfest between these two teams.
Yes.
Second down. Tate throws incomplete for Lewis, and a flag comes down. Another pass interference penalty against the Montreal Alouettes. And Mark Trestman disgusted on the Montreal sideline.
Yeah, this is cover 2, man.
Pass interference. Montreal, number 11. Point of foul, automatic first down.
Cover 2 man is 2 safeties deep. I'll show it to you in man coverage underneath. Real simple. And there's the 2 guys tie. Everybody else across the board is on their man, as you can see that. And you watch Nick Lewis try to get inside leverage on Cox from number 3. And Cox is holding him. It's an easy call.
First down from the 30. And Cornish wrapped up by Ramon Guzman up high. And Anwar Stewart down low. It's a gain of 2.
I hope you understood what I was talking about there. Man coverage underneath, 2 people deep over the top. Cover 2 deep, man underneath. Drew Tate reads that out beautifully. You see a lot of that down in the States. That's all they basically play is cover two-man or versions of that. Easy read from Drew Tate coming from the University of Iowa. He recognized it, threw it to Lewis, who was held. Easy call for the officials.
Second and long, here comes Cox in the rush. Tate gets it away, it's complete. Landon Talley's got it for a first down.
Poise, poise, poise. Knowing he's going to get drilled, and stands in the pocket and finds his release and his safety and his hot pattern. Cox coming off the edge. Anwar Stewart in his face. Cox goes top, lays him down. Drew Tate puts the ball in the money. And again, Landon Talley.
From the 18-yard line. Now looking to the end zone. It is caught. Johnny Forzani, touchdown.
I can't tell you how impressed I am with how the ball comes out of Drew Tate's hand and the timing he has. But we're not sure whether or not this was an actual touchdown, Gord. Maybe a premature celebration. We'll take another look at it. The ball's out.
He's 1 foot.
1 foot, and
I think he's got it.
Yeah, it looks like he got the right one down. Forzani knows the rules. The Canadian kid only need one in the end zone there.
So Johnny Forzani, with his second touchdown catch of the game, he's got 5 on the year, 4 of them against the Alouettes. Oh. Peters, but he's earned his spot.
I'm going to show you what he does and how he runs this route and gives his quarterback a better chance for success just by his release off the line of scrimmage.
Rod Slaughter from the 10-yard line. And Slaughter out to the 30.
Oftentimes receivers will take an outside release and don't do anything to press the corner inside. Watch Forzani. He's going to press the cornerbacks to the inside, and it gives them more room to the sidelines. And watch what that happens. Watch his release. He attacks to the inside, and then he goes outside, giving his quarterback an opportunity to throw the ball over his shoulder and gives him just enough room to put his foot down. If he doesn't take that inside release from his initial stem move, he's going to run out of room. That's well executed, both from John Forzani's perspective, the offensive line, and Drew Tate putting it on the money.
Now Calvillo screens it for Carter, and Kerry Carter with a stiff arm on Robert McCune, and then goes out of bounds after a gain of 16.
He didn't do that to the Hammer. Robert the Hammer McCune is one of the biggest linebackers you'll see, just stature-wise and muscle mass, and Kerry Carter, 6'3", 240 himself, puts him down with his right arm, making it look easy.
Robert McCune gave an impassioned halftime speech the last time these two teams met. McCune, a U.S. service veteran who served in both Iraq and Afghanistan, gave a fiery speech at halftime, and Calgary rallied to win that game 38-31. Fake to Whitaker. This is Bratton. Brian Bratton looking for some blocks, gets out to midfield. He'll have a gain of 9. It'll bring up 2nd and 1.
S.J. Green doing his best to help him out there. Brian Bratton really couldn't slow down because he had the speed. He's trying to get the edge. Picks up 9 for Montreal, and they're on the move here.
Just to set the stage for you, it's an 8-point Calgary lead. Both Montreal and Calgary have a timeout remaining. Both have a challenge left.
I think it's worth mentioning again, Calgary started the season off 5-0 on the road. They're 0-3 on the road since, and really in a slump, and playing well here in Montreal. A tough place to get a victory.
Calgary was 7-3 after 10 weeks. As Whitaker slashes ahead for the first down, in first place in the West Division. It appeared to be steaming away, and then the train went off the rails for a while, and now Calgary, with a win today and a win next week, could still possibly finish first in the West.
Just goes what we've been saying all day. Just very unpredictable season. Going down to the wire. Heard Dave Randorf talk about that. It's absolutely true. It's been a very, very difficult season to stay on top.
And difficult to gain yards there as Whitaker was wrapped up by Keon Raymond and others. It'll bring up 2nd and long.
Gordon, second along in the second half. Montreal is only 2 of 6. Calgary 6 of 8 on second down conversions in the second half alone. Montreal has really been stymied offensively. And the hard-nosed Calgary defense getting her done.
Jamal Richardson's having a quiet afternoon. Whitaker hasn't done much.
Yeah, he's been shut down.
Second and long for the Alouettes. Here comes the rush. Calvillo gets the ball away. Incomplete for Bratton. That was almost picked for 6.
Oh, Keon
Raymond had nothing but yard line stripes in front of him.
He just undercuts it, runs the whole route for him, and goes right through his hands. Stays with them. Look at that. All right through his hands, and he's got nothing but green in front of him, an open turf to the end zone, and we know he can run because he leads the league in interception and yardage, and he's been spectacular, taking a couple back for long interception returns for touchdowns.
White bouncing kick down to Taylor at the 15-yard line, and he's wrapped up on the spot as Walter Spencer was down to make the tackle. At its own 18-yard line. Tate throws to Cornish. And John Cornish, in front of Ramon Guzman, fights his way out to the 27-yard line. And Cornish shaking up as his helmet was halfway off his head.
Well, pretty easy one here when he handles the football finally from Henry Burris off a little fake toss-give option. Then following a big hole. Busting it up. Well, this is why he's been able to wrestle away the starting position away from Joffrey Reynolds, 8-year perennial all-star, future Hall of Famer. Done it with grace and style and class and producing with plays like that.
Second and a couple. Toss it back to Cornish. And Brouillette brings him down.
How about that? Look at him. I can't fathom an athlete that has the ability to play quarterback at the university level and then come in and do the things he's asked to do in so many different ways and forms for the Montreal Alouettes, from safety to linebacker to teams. Watch what he does. He's right here. He's going to come on the pitch and corral one of the best in the league right now and makes it look easy. That's just raw athletic ability. Brouillette playing lights-out football for the Alouettes.
Sean Slaughter stands back at his 50-yard line. And now he runs off, and it's Diamond Ferry taking to the 43. And Ferry wrapped up as he gets out to the 46-yard line. It's a 45-yard punt by Dale. Rashawn Slaughter, rather, is a player who was going to be on the Alouette roster at the end of training camp. They put him on their practice roster, but he had a kitchen accident, a grease fire, burned his hand and his arm. So he went home for a bit, but they brought him back after they cut Perry Floyd this week.
And somebody has talked to that young man, first-year player from Alabama, Birmingham, a program that's really been doing some good things over the last 10 years, and have told him, look, you're going to be our returner. You're going north-south, up and down the football field. That's all we've seen from him today.
First down for the 45. Calvillo to Whitaker. Incomplete.
He had a hard time picking that one off and check releasing out of the backfield. And when he did, the football was in his face mask. And that's just a sign to me that he never saw it. And oftentimes when the ball's thrown only 6-7 yards away from you, it gets on you in a hurry when you can't pick it up, and bang, it hits him right underneath the face mask before he's able to secure it and see it.
Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Alouettes. And they have struggled on second down conversions here in the second half. Calvillo steps up. He's under pressure. And getting into him was Junior Turner. The first-year man out of Bishops disrupted Calvillo.
Yeah, the reason why he had a chance, because that was a coverage sack. I really love what Calgary does here. They're going to drop this man, and they're going to drop this man, and they're going to rotate everybody underneath. Watch that. And that's just an invert, right? That's just cover 2 zone, right? But they disguised it, and it confused AC, where he had to hang on to the football, and pressure was able to get to him.
White off the side of his foot. That chases Taylor back to the 25-yard line. Taylor's got some room, and he's tripped up from behind. And fortunately so for the Alouettes, as Chip Cox made the special teams tackle. Well, TSN's coverage of 2011 Skate Canada International continues next with the Ice Dance Free Skate. Virtue and Moyer will be there. Live coverage begins following this game on TSN and TSN Mobile TV. So football, figure skating, then football. Just to calm you down a bit.
Yeah.
Look at the tackle by Cox, or Taylor was gone.
Yeah, that guy's been special. Really enjoyed talking to him about the philosophies of returns. He does it as well as the best in the league, and Chad Owens.
Joffrey Reynolds into the game for the Calgary Stampeders, and he's got a gain of a couple.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Jovan Johnson's name with that in that category as well. Larry Taylor, Chad Owens, Jovan Johnson, the best in the league right now, lighting it up.
Last year there were 19 kick return touchdowns in the CFL. This year there have been 8. It was a huge weapon for a lot of teams last season.
Still is. You know, just those hidden yards that you get on those returns that go straight up the field by those 3 guys predominantly has been special for their teams.
Tate throws. He's got the open man, Lewis. And Lewis is down to the Montreal 52-yard line for a first down as the Calgary Stampeders keep chewing up the clock as they have an 8-point lead.
Tate, another timing throw. We talk about it. Nick Lewis on Billy Parker, going to jam him. Parker loses his feet and balance. Relatively easy pitch and catch for Lewis and Tate.
Good throw for Lewis, incomplete. As he was closely covered there by Diamond Ferry, and it brings up a big second down play now, as the Stampeders are creeping closer to field goal range for Rene Paredes.
Diamond Ferry read that one very easily and almost intercepted it. Both these teams are well prepared week in, week out. And it shows on plays like that where they're basically running the patterns for the offensive scheme.
If maybe Landon Talley heard some footsteps coming there because he was on the tee.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. A big, fat 3-inch tee. Boy, it's just a... Yes, Drew was pressured. And credit, that may not look like much, but credit Anwar Stewart for pushing his man back into the lap of Drew Tate, where he's not able to pull down the football like he wants to put it on the chest of Landon Talley, and that ball goes over the top. So a couple things there. Jeff Heck coming into play with good coverage coming in support, and good push by Anwar Stewart collapsing the pocket.
What a kick by Dales. Slaughter from the 8-yard line. Flags are down. Slaughter was out of bounds, lost the football. He lost the ball. It's picked up by the Stampeders.
Randy Chevy's in the end zone. Look at that thing. It never looks smaller.
I know. Might be flat, but I thought he finished squeezing it.
Chevy had a good week last week, really spearheading the whole fight women's cancer, and successful.
Well, Slaughter was out of bounds there. So.
Oh, look at Chevy. He's thinking he's got a gift. He's off to the races.
On the return, holding, Montreal number 40, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Well, there's another special teams return penalty against the Alouettes, who lead the league in that category.
Special teams have been a big part of this second half, Gord. We've seen it work out well for Montreal and not so well on a couple of occasions.
And now the Alouettes are backed up to their own 4-yard line. 3:07 to go in the fourth quarter. And we've got an onset of birds here. It's like a Hitchcock movie the day before Halloween. Calvillo swings. He's got S.J. Green, and Green is out to the 30-yard line. There's a flag down in the end zone. That will bring us to the 3-minute warning, but what is the penalty?
Looks like it's going to be a roughing.
Major foul. Roughing the passer. Calgary, number 39. 15 yards from the end of the play. Automatic first down.
The Alouettes, also known as the Larks, are down by 8 and driving. Usually these birds show up just as the final gun sounds.
Yeah.
They must have thought it was a noon start, but they're in for some good eats when the crowd clears out.
They didn't get the memo.
Alouettes at their own 45-yard line. Calvillo got it to Jamel Richardson. And Richardson with a first down to the Calgary 43-yard line, a pickup of 22 yards. And Richardson now at 73 yards receiving for the game.
Just a beautiful strike, pitch and catch. Little corner route, skinny corner into the boundary. AC puts it on the money. Richardson goes high, secures it, move the chains.
Clock stopped at 2:38 as Richardson got out of bounds. Calvillo fires again, incomplete, looking for S.J. Green. That went right through his fingers. And Calvillo's been throwing fastballs all day.
Yeah, and his receivers have been catching them in defense because they've been coming so hot. This middle guy right here, and he's going to run underneath, and AC whips one in there, basically right through the hands of his receiver. I mean, this is a route that they like to do. It's almost, you can almost call it like a bang route. Another term, another route's used with that term on it, but he goes up there, bangs chest with the defender, and then comes off.
Calvillo throws underneath. He's got Green, and Green stumbles forward down to the 30-yard line. He should have a Montreal first down.
That makes up for it. Boy, that was pretty. AC just flicked it out there. Green doesn't see it till late, extends those long arms and reels this one in for a critical first down, keeping the drive alive for the Alouettes. Right here, just flicks it. He's got to move his feet. Stumbles and bumbles for a first down. Huge play, heads-up play by both Anthony Calvillo and S.J. Green, the beast, number 19.
And way behind the play, there's an injured Montreal Alouette. Might be Josh Bork. Josh Bork didn't start for the Alouettes in week 4 against Saskatchewan. That's the only change the Owls have had to make on the offensive line all year, but he's been playing hurt for most of the season.
You don't want to see this happen this time of year, but you know they have a replacement in Bombin, and the kid has been really worked in quite nicely this year in several different situations. And Ryan will come into the game, second-year player from University of Guelph.
So the Alouettes have it first down at the Calgary 31-yard line with 2:27 to go. The question would be, Matt, if they score, say within the next 25 seconds, that's too soon to go for 2, or do you go for 2 right away?
Well, that is a good question, Gord. It all depends on when they get in the end zone. I would think that they would wait because there is so much time left on the clock, and this is a different game than what we see downplayed in the States, where the time just continually ticks off the clock and nobody doing anything. You can run so many plays in the last 3 minutes here in the Canadian Football League, so I would think that they'd wait, Gord.
They've driven the ball 75 yards so far. It started their own 4-yard line. Here comes the rush. Calvillo gets it away. It is incomplete. A one-hopper to S.J. Green, and Calvillo took another shot from Charleston Hughes. And that'll bring up second down.
So just because of that injury to Bork, you've got all kinds of movement happening on the Montreal offensive line. So Bauman will go to left guard, Flory will kick out to right tackle, and Parrott moves over to left tackle. So a 3-for-1 change because one guy goes down on the offensive line.
Second down, look out, here comes the rush. Calvillo gets away and throws it in the air for London. Way up in the air, and London got spun around. Demetrius Morley on the safety blitz had a free crack at Calvillo.
And that's twice in a row pressure's been AC's face, and they're really taking advantage of that switching and that movement up front of the Montreal offensive line. And challenging, it's like a shark smelling blood, and the Stampeders certainly do here with the change up front, causing havoc for that protection of the Alouettes on Anthony Calvillo.
Alouettes are gambling on third down. They've turned the ball over twice on downs already. Lots of time for Calvillo. Can't find anyone open. Now he's into the end zone. Delorier, touchdown! Eric Delorier makes the catch. And the Alouettes are a 2-point convert away from tying it. Eric Delorier with his second touchdown catch of the year, only his 6th reception of the season overall.
And got away with a little push in the back, too. Veteran move by Delorier. Big, tall target, using his size. Anthony Calvillo finds him, buys some time for himself. Decent pressure, bounces around, moves to his left, then his right, and then gives his big, tall receiver a chance. And he comes up big for the Alouettes.
So 1:56 to go. The Alouettes are down by 2, and they're going for 2. First catch of the day for Delorier. 4 receivers on the wide side of the field. Calvillo's got room to run. Checked it out. Calvillo lost the football. He got tripped up as it looked like he had the end zone all to himself. And so it's a 2-point Calgary lead with 1:56 to go.
It's quarterback draw all the way. Anthony Calvillo pulls it down, and he's going to step up in there.
Claybrook's got him.
He did. Tripped him up, shoestring tackle, forced him to stumble, and AC just throws the ball out in front, hoping good things will happen. Not the case. Again.
Offside pass. Montreal number 13. By rule, that's declined. The convert is no good.
So they're ruling the fumble as an intentional fumble, a.k.a. a pass, after he crossed the line of scrimmage.
Pretty obvious here. Claybrooks gets him right there. AC tries to toss it in the end zone. It's kicked out by Keon Raymond. 2-point convert, no good. With 1:56 left on the clock, Alouettes is still 2 points down, and it's one of those things that pundits and everybody will talk about. Did they go for 2 points too early? You know, kick the single, put yourself in distance, either kicking a single, a punt single, or kicking a field goal. It doesn't hurt you for going for 2, because a field goal still wins it for you, right? The only thing it really takes out of play is the single to tie it for you. There's the push in the back. Very nonchalant push.
So Sean White will kick it off to Larry Taylor, or Willie. Calgary wary of the short kick here. He's got the hands team on as Taylor is the only man back.
Sean White, they call him Legatron now. Gord.
6 for 6 last week. This is Taylor from the 18-yard line. Taylor, without a return really being set up, does a good job to get to the 35-yard line. So Calgary has the football with 1:50 to go and a 2-point lead.
Dave Dickinson talking with his young quarterback, Drew Tate, giving final instructions.
And a lot of people compare Tate to Dickinson. Say he reminds a lot of people of the way Dickinson played the game.
I don't see that, but both very, Dave Dickinson, phenomenal career. He was just a surgeon out there with the way he controlled the game. Drew Tate's in a good spot getting taught by Dave Dickinson.
And he's up and throwing on first down. Looking over the top. He's got Forzani. And Johnny Forzani makes the catch.
Okay, let's not, okay, here's the deal, right? Everybody thinks we're going to run the ball, try to chew up the clock. What we're going to do, we're going to go over the top. And we're going to push the envelope a little bit. And Tate, I mean, this is a well-thrown ball, but if this ball was out there a couple more yards, nobody's catching Forzani. Forzani, we would have gotten to see his raw speed. He and Robbie Bryant, fastest guys in the Calgary Stampeders. Huge play for the Stampeders to regain field position.
Stop the clock at 1:44. Now a play fake to Cornish. And they throw it out to Bryant. And Robbie Bryant. And the whole Calgary sideline yelling inbounds, inbounds.
Get down, get down, get down. Oh, man.
And John Hufnagel just went over and said, stay inbounds.
Yeah, you know, Robbie Bryant, you know, you give it to Forzani, you give it to Bryant. Two fastest guys on the field, other than probably Chip Cox. And they're making it happen for the Stampeders offense, which is coming to life here when they need it.
This game opened with touchdowns on the first 3 possessions. Cornish. First down carry. Bounces off the first tackler, Anwar Stewart, but gets wrapped up after a gain of a yard. So 1:31 to go. That play just a yard, but the clock will run once the ball is spotted. The first 2 plays went out of bounds.
Yeah, John Cornish probably took about 3 or 4 seconds off the clock of taking hits from everybody in the Montreal defense, keeping his feet. That's what you want to see right now, is that clock to continue to run.
Guzman wants to know whether or not to call timeout here. So the clock is running. 2nd and 9. Tate's pass for 322 yards today.
That's a first.
Looked like offside for the Stampeders. Now Tate gives it up to Cornish, and DeAndre Dix is there to make the stop. Looked like the Stampeders were offside. 1:07 to go now. If you're Montreal, you probably call a timeout here. Calgary will have a field goal attempt coming up for Rene Paredes.
There's no infraction on the play.
What?
It will be 3rd down.
What?
So Paredes can come out and try a field goal, but
Looked like 2 Stampeder receivers were offside. The flags came out. Right there, he's 2 yards over the line of scrimmage. Tally is, ball snapped. How can there not be a flag on that play? How can there not? 2 of them were thrown.
Trestman wants timeout. And the clock is running. And now finally, Montreal gets a timeout. Cost them 6 seconds
Montreal.
of the clock. The clock ran down from 1:07 to 1:01 before the Alouettes got a timeout call.
I'm not sure if that was confusion on the Montreal's perspective side of things or if it was on the officials. I think they're still reeling from the last play call and the no call or no flag situation.
So Rene Paredes will come on to try the field goal. First attempt of the day.
Kim Murphy's one of the best in the league and has been for a long time. And he calls a very tight game, very competent.
So Paredes, who played his university football down the road at Concordia.
Nice.
His first attempt of the day will come from 41 yards out. And Slaughter is back in case he misses. Paredes puts it up, and it's good.
Like an extra point. That was with confidence, an exclamation point. That was beautiful.
So now a 5-point lead for the Stampeders with 57 seconds to go. Montreal does not have a timeout remaining.
So field goal doesn't win it for you now. Touchdown, you've got to have. Boy, that is beautiful. That is confident kick by Paredes. Make it, Hufnagel says. Killam says something a little bit different, starts with an F. And John Hufnagel, proud of that young man right there, has really just taken the opportunity to beat Calgary's all-time, full-time.
So the Alouettes have it at their own 35-yard line. No timeouts left and 57 seconds on the clock.
Gotta love this. See what AC's got.
By the way, in their last 2 losses, the Calgary Stampeders have been beaten on the final play of the game.
Timeout, Calgary.
And now the Stamps use their timeout.
It's an unusual timeout. Oh, I tell you what it was. They didn't have enough people on the field.
It's a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem. That is, as Quincy Butler checks into the game. Well, that's, you don't want to be playing with 11 now against Anthony Calvillo.
A bunch formation at the top of your screen there. Here comes the blitz again. Calvillo sees it, and it's incomplete as he looks for Jamel Richardson, as Junior Turner was there on the coverage. Second down, 53 seconds to go. Junior Turner, who is listed as a defensive lineman. It's the first-year man out of Bishops. Plays a little bit of everything for Calgary.
I guess so. Covering Jamel Richardson, defensive lineman. Come on. Well, look at that. How do you decipher what kind of defense that you're looking at there?
Here comes the rush again. Calvillo steps up and throws. Complete. Brian Bratton makes the catch. He gets out of bounds at the Calgary 54-yard line.
Anthony Calvillo dropping down with his release point and slings one. Watch him, just slings a zing. And then Bratton sure-handed on the other end. Huge play for the Owls.
First down just across midfield. Calvillo, pump fake. Can't find anyone open, now just throws it away as he puts it over the head of Whitaker. Wanted to go down the field to Bratton, but he was well covered.
Yeah, he was double covered. AC moved, trying to extend the play, and then Charleston Hughes, with his second effort, was in hot pursuit, and AC just had to get rid of it, stop the clock.
Two very good teams hooking up in a very good football game that matters a lot to both of them.
Absolutely. Home field advantage is up for the taking.
Calvillo, time, looking up the sideline for Richardson. Oh, Jamel Richardson. Are you kidding?
One-handed over the top, says thank you very much.
Down to the 18-yard line and out of bounds with 35 seconds to go.
Well, I saw it develop from the beginning, just didn't know whether or not Anthony's going to have time enough to make it happen. Running a wheel route with Smith, Brandon Smith in coverage, and he goes one-hander over the top.
And that is a CFL record catch for Jamel Richardson. It'll put him over 100 yards for the 12th time on the year. He breaks the previous mark of 11. But more importantly, the Alouettes have it. First down at the 18-yard line, 35 seconds to go. Calvillo, another pump fake. Throws it underneath to Whitaker, and Whitaker fights down to the 11-yard line.
Well, it seems like Jamel Richardson, when he breaks records, he does them with a lot of drama and flair, and what a catch that was. Little wheel route on Brandon Smith, fourth-year player from Sacramento State. AC's got plenty of time, gives his big, lanky, tall receiver an opportunity, and he hauls it in with one arm. Doesn't even use his right hand.
Second down from the 11. Calvillo, and through the hands of Richardson right at the goal line. And now it's third down.
You're just going to find a soft spot over the middle. AC puts this one right there. Snap your head. He has a hard time locating it. By the time he does, it's hitting him in the forearm.
That's a touchdown.
Yeah, it's a touchdown. Anthony's thrown a lot of balls like that today that haven't been able to be secured on the other end.
Montreal has scored 2 touchdowns on third down tries, and now we've got an injured Calgary Stampeder. Looks like Brian Bulkey is the injured man.
And the Alouette fans are not buying that he's injured, thinking that he's just going down for a little timeout so that Stampeder defense can regroup.
And Matt, the Alouettes don't have to go to the end zone here. It's 3rd and 3.
That's right.
They can get 3 yards. There's still lots of time.
Anthony Calvillo, I think, is well aware of that. You would want to make sure, as I know that Scott Malinovich is talking to him right now, saying, look, we don't need the score here. Just give us 3 more chances, which I think they can get off in 16 seconds, because plays don't take very long when you're just looking for 11 yards.
Montreal needs to win its last 2 and have Winnipeg lose next week against Calgary to clinch first place in the East Division. And again, the Alouettes are 7-1 in Eastern final games at home since 2000.
So what you want here, you're going to think you're going to get man-to-man coverage, right? So what you want is you want to give yourself an opportunity where you're getting help. You know, run a bunch formation and hopefully get a mismatch and some leverage on somebody. AC can read it out in a hurry and stick it to him underneath. Maybe good things will happen. But you don't need to be putting the ball in the end zone at this point with 16 seconds on the clock when you only need 3.
What a drive by the Alouettes, keyed by that Jamel Richardson 37-yard catch up the sideline, which, as you mentioned, he didn't use his hand.
No, just use his right arm. That is just incredible. We've seen it all season long. Fitting, he breaks the CFL record for most games with 100 yards in the season.
Is Calgary going to lose another one on the final play here? 16 seconds to go. It's 3rd down and 3 for the Alouettes.
Man-to-man coverage across the board. Bump and run on the 2 wideouts.
Calvillo, here comes the rush. Going to the end zone. S.J. Green is thrown away. Johnny Dixon with a great defensive play. And the Alouettes are turned away with 10 seconds to go. The Calgary Stampeders get up off the mat.
Absolutely blanket coverage by Johnny Dixon, 2nd-year player from Pearl River Community College in Poplar, Mississippi. Look at this coverage. This is incredible. Just mirroring him. Eyeball him, stand in his hip pocket, turn, play the ball, bat it down. Calgary Stampeders breaking the winless streak on the road at 3 with a huge victory at McGill. Another spectacular game here, Gord.
And Drew Tate goes to 2-0 as a starter for the Calgary Stampeders. And the clock will start to run. There will be one more play. The Calgary Stampeders, who began like a house on fire, coming into the hardest stadium to win in the CFL, and they win it by a final score of 32-27 on what might have been Anthony Calvillo's last game in this stadium for the Alouettes. Trestman and Huffnagel shake hands, and you wonder if they're going to meet each other again in a month or so. So a terrific end to this week in the Canadian Football League, and it'll all come down to the final one to determine the final places and the playoff matchups. For Matt Dunnigan and Michael Whalen, I'm Gord Miller. Thanks for tuning in. Now stand by for Skate Canada International.